Hare Krishna Premanandi Hare Bol, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Does everybody have a Bhagavad Gita?
Mero, can you distribute Bhagavad Gita? It's coming.
So this evening we'll speak on a verse from the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. I presume everybody here is familiar with the Gita, but at least heard of it. So who can tell me what Bhagavad Gita means? What does it mean? There are two words. Bhagavad Gita. So what does it mean? We're here to speak on Bhagavad Gita. So everybody should have some idea. What is Bhagavad Gita? Everybody has heard the word Bhagavan. Hey Bhagavan. Everybody comes to Bhagavan to ask for something. And today, on the calendar, what is today?
Shivratri?
No,
It's tomorrow morning.
that's tomorrow. What's on the calendar today? Everybody's running around.
Valentine's.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, yes.
So Valentine's means everybody is looking for love. Right? We all want love. Happiness, pleasure, love. You can call it what you want. We all want that. If we are not insane, if we're sane, we want happiness, we want pleasure, we want love. So who goes to Bhagavan to ask for love? Put your hand up. Yes, some of us do. If you have some inkling, this is what distinguishes the atheists from the theists. An atheist is somebody who at least theoretically understands and accepts that everything is coming from one original source. You call the source God, or Bhagavan, or Allah, or Yahweh, or Jehovah. There's one original source of everything. So if I'm an intelligent theist, then I go to that source of everything and I ask for what I want. So that's the beginning of devotion, beginning of relationship. Just like some of you may be mothers already, the children, in the beginning, parents are just like an ATM. Everything I want, I go to mommy or daddy. Give me this, give me that. Oh, my friend got a car, give me a car. Give me. But as the relationship matures, then the switch flips. Then the child wants to bring you something. Isn't it? When there's genuine feeling and appreciation, then the child wants to bring something to give to the parent, to make the parent happy. Parent doesn't need it. If a child goes in the kitchen, it's mommy and daddy's flour, mommy and daddy's water, mommy and daddy's sugar. But they put it together, make a cookie, and they bring it and say, Happy Valentine's Day. Oh, you melt. Oh, you're so thoughtful. So it's like that when we approach God. If we simply, lifelong, Bhagavan, give me a car, give me a house, give me a degree, give me a this, give me. It's not so nice. As the relationship with Bhagavan matures, we should start to ask, what can I do to make Bhagavan happy? This is real human platform, real theistic platform, real devotee platform. So Prabhupada used to say that Father, every religion they see God as Father. And Father again means supplier. The kid is always asking Daddy or Papa or whatever, give me this, give me. But in the bhakti tradition that we're following, the devotee eventually wants to become Krishna's father. So that Krishna can come to him and ask, give me this, give me that. Or the Mother Yashoda, she's always worrying. Krishna's God, and nothing can happen to him. But because she loves him so much, she's always worrying that he may not get attacked by a monkey or Cows may not kick him, or they always worry or anxiety. That anxiety is love. It's not like our anxiety. Our anxiety here in this material world is based on, because I want something and I'm anxious, will I get it or not get it? Quite often when you want something, you get it, then you're anxious to get rid of it. Right? So today, Valentine's Day, everybody's begging for love. Some are approaching Bhagavan. Please arrange for me to meet my soulmate. Others are going to a bar on the corner looking for the soulmate. Everybody's looking for some happiness and pleasure. But long ago, there was a song that was very popular. Looking for love in all the wrong places. Looking for love in too many faces. So this is everybody in the material world. It's not just that one songwriter or singer. Everybody is looking for love in all the wrong places. Again, instead of coming to Bhagavan and being dependent on Bhagavan, everybody thinks they can make their own arrangement. So here in this 9th chapter, Bhagavan, Krishna, again, Bhagavad comes from Bhagavan, and Gita means song. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna is singing, and these shlokas are meant to be sung. He's singing to Arjuna. He's telling Arjuna what his situation is. So 9th chapter, everybody has the book? We're going to do text number 5. And the title of the 9th chapter is The Most Confidential Knowledge. And as we've said many times, people may say, well, it's written down in a book. How can it be confidential? Anybody can read it. It's not so easy. Yes, you can read it, but you will not understand unless you actually surrender to the process of Bhakti Yoga. All right, everybody found it? You can try to repeat after me. Chapter 9,
Page 361.
text number 5.
Page 361.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Apologies, I'm the one who puts this book together that you're holding in your hand, the small version of the Bhagavad Gita. Every year I'm printing 200,000 minimum of that book.
Wow.
We distribute every year. Because of the current economic situation, I'm printing mostly in China. You get the best price quality ratio. Sometimes I print elsewhere, but mostly in China. So sorry, because there's so many pages in this book, I had to make the text a little smaller. It's not really meant for older eyes like my own, actually. This is meant for young people.
You're young.
Yeah, but we have other versions. We have bigger versions of Bhagavad Gita with bigger text for older eyes like mine. So everybody try to repeat. This is Krishna speaking to Arjuna. Nachamatstani bhutani
Naksamatashanani
pashyame yogam aishwaram
Pashyame yogamashwaram
bhuta brinna cha bhutasto
Buddha vrindavana bhutaso
mamatma bhuta bhavanaha.
Amatma bhuta bhavana
One more time. Nachamatstani bhutani
Naksamatashanani
pashyame yogam aishwaram
Pashyame yogamashwaram
bhuta brinna cha bhutasto
Buddha vrindavana bhutaso
mamatma bhuta bhavanaha.
Amatma bhuta bhavana
Okay, anybody like to try leading the chanting? We always do things call and response, just like when we do kirtan. Somebody leads, everybody responds. So everybody can take a turn if you'd like to chant the sloka.
Nachamata stadi putani
Nachamatstani bhutani
Pasyame yagam ishwaram
pashyame yogamaishwaram
Bhuta brina nachama putashta
bhuta brinna cha bhutasta
Mamatma bhuta bhavana
mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. Okay, anybody else want to try?
Nachamatstani bhutani.
Nachamatstani bhutani
Pashyame yogam aishwaram.
pashyame yogamaishwaram
Bhuta brinna cha bhutasto.
bhuta brinna cha bhutasto
Mamatma bhuta bhavanaha.
mamatma bhuta bhavanaha.
Nachamadbhustani bhutani
Nachamatstani bhutani
Paschame yogameshwaram
pashyame yogamaishwaram
च भूतस्थो
Bhutabrena cha bhutasho
ममात्मा भूत भावना
Mamatma bhutavavanaha. You want to try?
It's a little hard to read in English, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, anybody else? Hare Krishna?
yeah, I know. This is
You want to try?
basically for
Haribo?
English students, I guess.
Anybody here? You want to try? Okay. Now, if you notice, this is why Prabhupada's Gita is so popular, because you get the Devanagari, for those who can read Devanagari script. Not in the small version, but in the big version, you get the Devanagari. And then you get a word-for-word translation, a synonym. So we'll do that. Then we'll do the translation and Prabhupada's commentary. So synonyms: na,
Na.
never;
Never.
cha,
Cha.
also;
Also,
matstani,
Mastani.
situated in me;
Situated in me.
bhutani,
Bhutani,
all creation;
all creation.
pasya,
Pasya,
just see;
just see.
me, my; yogamaishwaram,
Yogameshwaram,
inconceivable mystic power;
inconceivable mystic power.
bhutabrit,
Bhutaprit,
the maintainer of all living entities;
the maintainer of all living entities.
na,
Na.
never;
Never.
cha,
Cha.
also;
Also,
bhutastaha,
Bhutastaha,
in the cosmic manifestation;
in the cosmic manifestation.
mama,
Mama.
my;
Maya,
atma,
Atma.
self;
self.
bhutabhavanaha,
Bhutavana,
the source of all manifestations.
The source of all manifestations.
So Srila Prabhupada's translation for this verse. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation. So this obviously relates to the previous verse, where Krishna says, by me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All living beings are in me, but I am not in them. And now he's adding to that statement by saying, and yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I'm everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation. So this requires some explanation. It sounds like a riddle. So we'll hear Prabhupada's commentary, and then we'll try to say a few words. So Prabhupada says, the Lord says that everything is resting on Him, Matstani Sarvabhutani. This should not be misunderstood. The Lord is not directly concerned with the maintenance and sustenance of this material manifestation. Sometimes we see a picture of Atlas. Anybody seen that? Have you been to Rockefeller Center? Big strong guy, big thick legs, and he's holding up the world. So Prabhupada is referring to that. Said sometimes we see a picture of Atlas holding the globe on his shoulders. He seems to be very tired, holding this great earthly planet. Such an image should not be entertained in connection with Krishna's upholding this created universe. He says that although everything is resting on him, he is aloof. In other words, Krishna is not struggling to maintain everything. The planetary systems are floating in space, and this space is the energy of the Supreme Lord. But he's different from space. He's differently situated. Therefore, the Lord says, quote, although they are situated on my inconceivable energy, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am aloof from them. End of quote. This is the inconceivable opulence of the Lord. In the Nirukti Vedic dictionary, it is said, Yujyate nena durgateshu karyeshu, which means the Supreme Lord is performing inconceivably wonderful pastimes displaying His energy. Continuing Prabhupada's commentary, His person is full of different potent energies, and His determination is itself actual fact. In this way, the personality of Godhead is to be understood. We may think of doing something, but there are so many impediments, and sometimes it is not possible to do as we like. But when Krishna wants to do something, simply by His willing, everything is performed so perfectly that one cannot imagine how it is being done. The Lord explains this fact. Although He is the maintainer and sustainer of the entire material manifestation, He does not touch this material manifestation. Simply by His supreme will, everything is created, everything is sustained, everything is maintained, and everything is annihilated. There is no difference between His mind and Himself, as there is a difference between ourselves and our present material mind, because He is absolute spirit. Simultaneously, the Lord is present in everything, yet the common man cannot understand how He is also present personally. He's different from this material manifestation, yet everything is resting on Him. This is explained here as Yogam Aishwaram, the mystic power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvashesha Srinivani Paschatire Sharane Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shamakaya Chakshur Unvilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Snapitang Jaina Bhutale Swamrupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Tapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishyavangscha Shri Rupam Sagadatam Sahagana Ragana Tandutam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Purjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakandatangscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancho Kopatu Vyasha Kripa Sindhu Mevacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaurabhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So there was a Scottish poet, I'm trying to remember his name now. Anyway, he has this famous line where he says, "The best laid plans of mice and men gang aft a glee," which in that language, Scottish version of English, it means, again, that you make your plans, whether you're a mouse or a man, but quite often it doesn't work out. And we see in action here tonight our usual host, Atman Vedana Prabhu. He has a house in Long Island, and there was a pipe that broke and flooded, so he had to stay home. He wanted to be here, but he couldn't because things happen. And that's the nature of this realm of existence where we are now. It's just, there are two distinct realms of existence, the spiritual realm and the material realm. The spiritual realm is characterized by no problems, no broken pipes, no late trains, no trains at all. But there are airplanes. There are airplanes. There are so many incidents that we can read about in the Vedic literature where an airplane comes from the spiritual world to take a soul who's ready to go back to home, back to the spiritual world, and take them there. And not just to go to the spiritual world, even within this material world. We have our 747, our Airbus, and this and that. They're not necessarily fail-proof. I've had some pretty rough rides myself in airplanes over the course of my 73 years. Once I was in Minneapolis and took a plane back to New York. But there was a storm going on over this section of the country, so they diverted us to Boston and couldn't land there either, so we had to go all the way back to Cleveland, Ohio. Just made it, just enough fuel to get there. Stayed in a hotel overnight, and then the next morning came. And it was pretty bumpy because there was lightning outside. I mean, very bad. On Thursday, I gave a class at the ISKCON Temple in Brooklyn, and I related the incidents from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which Prabhupada summarized in his Krishna book, about one king named Mriga. He was a very pious king. You can read about this in the Krishna book. How many of you have Krishna book at home? You should read this, chapter 64, if you haven't read it in a while. Very instructive, because Mriga was a very, very pious king. But one day, just for a slight mistake, he was a karma kandik. In other words, he's performing his karma just perfectly to get elevation to a higher situation in the next life. And he was doing very perfectly. But he donated a cow to one Brahmana, and the cow, somewhere or other, got away, came back into his herd, and he didn't realize it. So he gave the same cow to another Brahmana. And then when the first Brahmana saw the second Brahmana, he said, "That's my cow." So they started quarreling and fighting. And the king was so embarrassed. He said, it's just all a mistake, please. I give you 100,000 cows just to stop the quarrel. Each of you take 100,000 new cows and forget about this one. But they refused. So because of that negative incident, at the end of his life, he had to go before Yamaraj. Yamaraj, everybody has heard of. Yamaraj is the Lord of Death. In other religious traditions, they talk about the judgment day. But it's not just one day. Every time you leave a body, you have to go and be judged. On the human platform. Animals don't get judged. Even in ordinary life. If a lion kills a human being, you can't take him to court and charge him with murder. You may want to eliminate him so he doesn't kill another human being. But he's not criminally liable. Humans are criminally liable. So same thing, when a human being dies, that soul goes before Yamaraj. So this king, when he left his body, he was taken to Yamaraj. And Yamaraj said, "You have done so much pious work. You have unlimited positive rewards waiting for you. But because of this one mistake, there you have to be punished. What do you want first? Do you want to be punished first, or do you want to enjoy your rewards first?" So the king said, "I want to be punished." So Yamaraj said, "Okay." So he was immediately turned into a lizard, and he was, one day the princes from Krishna's camp, Dwarka, they were out on a picnic, and they were feeling thirsty, so they went to this well, and inside the well they saw this huge lizard. And they tried their best to get him out, but they couldn't. So when they went back to the palace, they related to Lord Krishna what happened. So he came and very easily took the lizard out. And then he said, as soon as he touched the lizard transformed into this beautiful demigod, handsome man with all paraphernalia, jewels and earrings and all that. So Lord Krishna said, "Now, just a moment ago you were a lizard. Would you like to share the secret, the story?" I mean, Krishna knows everything, but he wanted him to relate. So that's what he told, that I was a pious king and this one cow incident with the one cow. So at the end of all that, Krishna said, "Okay, now you can go to the heavenly planets." So immediately this airplane came from the heavenly planets, not the spiritual world. Like a lot of people talk about heaven. But they're actually talking about the heavenly planets within this material world. If you live a pious life, Krishna says earlier in the Gita, "Urdvam gacchati sattasta." If you live a pious life, you go upwards. Urdvam gacchati sattasta. Satta means mode of goodness. So if you live in the mode of goodness like this king did, you get rewarded by being elevated to heavenly life, demigodly life. Now, most people, even those who don't grow up in Vedic culture, have heard of the major demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra. But there are actually 33 crores of demigods. Most of them are minor demigods, but then you have your major demigods. But still, we learn from Mahabharata that life there is thousands and thousands of times more pleasurable than it is on this level, earthly level of existence. So once you make it to the heavenly planets, it's actually described in Mahabharata that there are parents, a husband and wife, and they decide they want to have a child, and then the child is born and immediately grows up, and you can't distinguish between the child and the parent. Wow. They don't have to go through teething and colic, and that's demigodly life. Here on this planet, you give birth to a child and you have to worry every time the child cries. What's the cause of the crying? Is quite often something biting him, but you think, oh, maybe he's hungry, and you try to feed him again. And he's thinking, he can't speak, but he's thinking, what's wrong with you? Can't you understand? Something is biting me. And you're trying to push this bottle in my mouth. That's not going to solve anything. Like that. We don't even understand. Even though we ourselves went through that phase, right? We were all born as little infants, and we went through that stage where we couldn't communicate what was wrong, whether it's I'm feeling a pain in my stomach or something is biting me. And the parents, they don't know. That's called ignorance. So this material world where we're living is the realm of ignorance. The spiritual world characterized generally in three categories: Sat, which means eternality; Chit, which means full knowledge; and Ananda, which means bliss. So as we said, on this day, Valentine's Day, everybody's looking for Ananda. Everybody's looking for bliss in terms of relationship with another person. However, because in this realm, this material world, 99.9% of the people are sinful, and this material world is actually like a prison house. Durga. That's why there's Durga Devi. She's watching this prison. And she has her, how many arms does Durga have? You know? She has 8 arms. And every arm, if you look, if you've ever seen a person of Durga Devi, she has a picture. She has a weapon, which means you can't escape. And if somehow or other you escape, what is she riding on? What's her carrier? Yeah. So if somehow or other you escape Durga Devi, the lion will get you. In other words, it's indicating that once you're put in this material world, you cannot escape. You cannot buy your way out. You cannot cheat your way out. You cannot lie your way out. You can't. The only way, as Krishna says at the end of Bhagavad Gita, is surrender to me. You have to surrender to me if you want to get out. In other words, you have to revive your original Krishna consciousness. Right now we are, first and foremost, we're me conscious. We think, every one of us that are in a conditioned state of existence, we think that everything revolves around us. And everything should work according to my taste. So every interaction I have, everybody should understand that I'm the most important. The government should revolve around me, what I want. Everything is about me. But Krishna is indicating here in this verse that everything is actually arranged by me, not us. Just like I said, I was late because the F train was delayed for 15 minutes. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't run down the track and grab the train. And it didn't make sense going on the street because by the time you find some alternate, it's going to be later. So, like that. Or like we said, Atmanabheda, his pipe in his house in Long Island burst. What can you do? So this material world, especially on this plane of existence, the earthly plane and lower planets, characterized by constant problems. Constant problems. Problems or miseries are referred to in Sanskrit. The name is Kunta. And therefore the spiritual world is called Vaikunta. It means that place where there are no miseries, there are no problems. For us it seems like a fairy tale, for most people, because we're so conditioned that there must be problems. There must be problems. That if somebody says, no, there's a place where there are no problems, no, that's just fairy tale. You're just dreaming. Come on, you have to learn to deal with the reality. Okay. You want to stay in this reality, that's up to you. But there's another reality. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita that there's another reality where there are no miseries, everything is wonderful, and there's not even any need for any illumination because everything is self-effulgent. Krishna says you don't need sunlight, moonlight, not even electricity. You don't need in that realm. Everything is self-effulgent. Like I said, it's hard for us to wrap our minds around that because we are so conditioned to have at least some suffering. And there's no way we can escape it. There are threefold miseries that everybody has to experience on this plane of existence. Miseries caused by your own body and mind, miseries caused by others, and miseries caused by the demigods who are in control of, like the weather. Like now, in the dead of winter, hardly we're getting above freezing. You can't do anything about it. It's not under your control. Yes, you can, like most Americans, they aspire to have a 50,000 square foot house where every room is so hot that you can walk around in t-shirt. That's the American mentality. The European mentality is that you heat one room and everybody hangs out in that common room. Or as they say, you heat the body, not the space.
Oh, yeah.
But in America, everybody wants to heat every single room, even the garage, so you can walk around in a t-shirt when it's minus 20 outside. And that's why Americans use so much energy. But in spite of that, they're still miserable. Because you have to go outside sometime. Right? Although some people hardly. They keep the car in the garage, they get in the car in the garage, they open the door, they drive to the office, they go into underground parking, and they immediately get on the elevator. So they can seem to escape. But somewhere along the line, you're gonna experience some misery caused by the demigods who are in control of the weather and everything like that, beyond our control. And money, again, cannot make you avoid that. There are so many people in this world who have more money than we can dream of, and they're still miserable. They're still miserable. So miserable that they wake up, I've said this many times, like Sasha was saying, he's from Ukraine. So the big neighbor next door decided, even though he has so much money, people say they can't even calculate how many billions of dollars this man has, but still so miserable that he has to attack his neighbors. And every day make a plan to see how many of them he can kill. This is material consciousness. We can tell when we're making progress in spiritual consciousness when we are concerned about making others happy, not about making others miserable, not just about my happiness. Material consciousness means I don't care what it takes. If somebody has to die for me to get what I want, I don't care. Whereas spiritual consciousness is just the opposite. The spiritualist, like Srila Prabhupada, he was very satisfied living in Vrindavan. But he came to the West, to this miserable New York, just so that he could give everybody the formula for eternal happiness. Give us the formula for eternal happiness. So in this 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge, Krishna is explaining again that everything is resting on me, but I am not there. Now what does that mean? What does that mean? The material world, again, is a manifestation of Krishna's external energy. Bahir Anga Shakti. It's Krishna's material energy. And he has set it up. Why? Because some souls inevitably, although everything is perfect in the spiritual world, because we have free will, some souls will wonder what it would be like to be Bhagavan. What it would be like to be Bhagavan. And we see that. We can examine our own consciousness and we can see it in others, that everybody is trying to get ahead. Everybody wants to take the top position. I tell you a story, not a story, it's a fact. When Prabhupada first went to Japan, he was getting his Bhagavatams printed there, a company named Dai Nippon. So he met one of the salesmen, and in those days, you couldn't exchange information just by tapping somebody's phone. There were no smartphones. So everybody carried business cards. So while Prabhupada was waiting to have a meeting, one of the salesmen came in and he was chatting with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada asked him, what is your desire in life? What do you want? So the guy, he was honest. He took a bunch of business cards and then he took his and put his on top. That was his desire. He wanted to be the top guy. So that's everybody's desire in the material world. Everyone wants to be numero uno. Everybody wants to be topmost. And you can't have, they say almost 8 billion human beings on this planet right now. You can't have 8 billion numero unos. And that's why we clash with each other. Because I have my idea of what I want to do, where I want to go, who I want to be with, and you have your ID, and sometimes somebody wants to be with a person, like now on Valentine's Day, and that person doesn't want to be with them. So that creates a problem. When I was a student in high school, not far from here, I grew up in Brooklyn. Went to Erasmus Hall High School. So I had a job in a bakery. And the owner of the bakery, even though my family is from Jamaica, I actually was born in Jamaica, grew up here in the United States. So even though this guy was also from the West Indies, he loved country music. So there was just one station that he would tune into. And literally every half an hour, there was this song that would come on. It's burned into my consciousness.
To this day.
Says, is anybody going to San Antonio or Phoenix, Arizona? Why? Anywhere is okay, as long as I can forget I ever known you. You get it? In other words, he was in a bad relationship and he wanted to go anywhere so he could forget about this person. So that's material life. We hanker after this situation, that situation. I want to be with this person, that person. And quite often we get it, because Bhagavan is kind. If we want something, Krishna will give us. But then we get it and we're still not happy. Still not happy. And therefore we have to be trained by the spiritual master what to desire, what to ask for. Because if we keep asking for the wrong things, we keep getting what we ask for, and we're still not happy. There's a nice example that in India, in the village, they were still using firewood for everything, for cooking, heating, whatever. So mostly that was the job of the ladies. The men would work in the fields, and the ladies would have to go into the nearby forest and collect firewood. So one day, a bunch of ladies going, and this old lady was going with them. And then they get to the good spot, because as time goes by, you have to go further and further and further to find wood. So they found them enough wood, and everybody made a big bundle, and somebody helped the old lady with the bundle on her head. But while they're going back, the younger ladies, they're chit-chatting, and they just went away and left her. So the old lady is far behind. She's walking along, and all of a sudden, she heard this roar, tiger, arr, and she was startled, and the bundle fell from her head. It's said that before the British went to India, conquered, they didn't really conquer, somewhere or other they managed to take over India. There was a tiger every square meter. There were so many tigers in India. But then the British came, and the people more or less lived harmoniously with them. But when the British came, they brought their guns. And you can see so many pictures, you can Google, during the British Raj. British gentlemen standing there with their guns, and like 10, 20 dead tigers. Like that. They were so vicious to these animals. Not necessary. Just for their sport. They like that. So anyway, the old lady heard a roar, and the bundle fell from her head. So what to do? She couldn't put it back on her head. She's crying, what to do? Hey Bhagavan, please help me. So Krishna is kind. So Krishna came and said, yes, mother, what would you like? And what did she ask him? Please put the bundle back on my head. Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord is in front of you. You can ask for anything. Make me injure or take me back to the spiritual world. No. She asked, put the bundle back on my head. So Prabhupada told that story because the import is that when you go to God, don't ask for something that's going to just be a burden. Which is what we do when we're not really Krishna conscious. We go to church, mosque, temple, we bow down, we pray, hey Bhagavan, please give me $1 million. Nowadays that's not enough. Please give me $10 million, 100 million. Make me a billionaire. Now, if I was so wealthy that I could give everybody sitting here, and this is an experiment I do, I speak in schools a lot. Even the kids can understand. If I was so wealthy, I could give every one of you $10 million right now. And then I say, one condition, we all come back here 1 year from now. Everybody has to come back 1 year from now in this room. And then tell me your experience with your $10 million. After 1 year only, would everybody still have $10 million? Well, maybe all of you. You're very intelligent. That's why you're here. But the average person, you give them $10 million. The ones who are the most foolish, they immediately go to Las Vegas and they lose it in a couple of days.
Yeah.
party, and gamble, and it's all gone. Those who are real miserly, they wouldn't do that, but they give you all in cash and they put it under the bed so it stays there. And they're happy just to know that I have $10 million. And the ones who's really intelligent, they take what they need and then they invest some and like that. So in a year's time, some would have nothing, some would have more or less still $10 million, and some would have $100 million because they invested wisely. So life in general is like that. Everybody gets what they're due by their previous karma. But what you do with it is up to you. And that's why we see sometimes in the same family, in other words, the same opportunities are there for education, for everything. You have a family of 3 kids. They don't all turn out the same way. One child becomes a judge, and another child becomes a criminal and comes before the sibling to be judged. That's free will. It's not that the parents indoctrinated one child differently from the other child. No, they had the same opportunity, same school, same amount of attention from the parents. But everybody has free will. That's why we don't turn out the same. Even given the same opportunities, we don't turn out the same because we have free will. So Krishna consciousness means being trained how to properly utilize everything that we get. How to properly utilize money, health, wealth, whatever we get, how to use it properly for not only your own aggrandizement, but to do the best for everybody in general. So Prabhupada came over from India in 1965 with 40 rupees that he couldn't even change at the bank because no bank in America would take rupees at that time. The rupee was not on their charts. Yet, within just a few short years, Prabhupada started this movement, as Shasha was reminding us, in 1966, and he left this world in 1977. So in about 12 years' time, Prabhupada started from zero, as we say nowadays, you go from zero to hero. Prabhupada started out with nothing, and within 12 years, he had so much externally. People didn't realize that the real wealth is the spiritual. But just even externally, he had so much that Indian businessmen were eager to know, how did you do that? You come to America with nothing, and now you have temples all over the world and so many followers. And anyway, how are you doing it in such a short space of time? So Prabhupada would say, if they want to know, you come here and we'll teach you. We'll teach you primarily how to chant this Hare Krishna mantra, because that's the open secret for success. You chant this Hare Krishna mantra, and Krishna will provide everything. He provides for everyone anyway. Prabhupada used to say the elephants in the jungle, and they're also being wiped out, there are only a handful left. But again, prior to the British going to Africa, and India also, India had so many elephants. So many elephants. And Prabhupada used to say, they don't have any business, they don't even engage in agriculture. But they're all eating 80, 100, 150 kgs every day. Where is it coming from, all that food? Krishna is supplying. So said, if you become a devotee of Krishna and you want to give to Krishna, don't you think Krishna will take care of you? That God will take care of you? That's lack of faith. A faithful person understands that it's not like a regular job where you work 20, 25, 30 years, and at the end, just before retirement, they let you go. It happens. Recently, so many big companies in America went through a round of labor reduction. 15, 20,000 people are fired in one shot. Either you take early retirement or we fire you. So there's no guarantee in the material world. But on the spiritual platform, anything that we do, like Prabhupada said, and Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, charity should be given to the right person for the right reason. And the karmic distinction is this. If you give charity to someone undeserving, you don't get anything back. Like a drunk on the street, you know if you give him $1, he's going to go to the liquor shop and buy something. Says some people still feel good giving $1. Now, if you give money to someone who's qualified to accept charity, then you get it back 1-to-1. Whatever you gave, you will get back in the future, same amount. But if you give charity to a bona fide devotee of Krishna like Srila Prabhupada, you cannot calculate how much you'll get back in the future. You cannot calculate. Of course, the best thing is not to want anything in return. Because we know, again, Krishna will take care of you. You don't have to ask for anything. But if you do, if you still have some material desire, Krishna will fulfill. Just like in the Dhruva Charita, in the Bhagavatam. Dhruva was born in a royal family. And of course, most of the Kshatriyas in those days, they were allowed to have more than one wife. So the king, Uttanapad, he had 2 wives. The first wife was Dhruva's mother, and then he married another one who became his favorite, and she also had a son. So one day Dhruva wanted to get on his father's lap. Naturally, he's a 5-year-old boy. The other son was there already, and the second wife said, no, you cannot get on the king's lap. If you want to sit on the king's lap, you have to be born from my womb. In other words, die. Come back again. And Dhruva, being a Kshatriya, he was even 5 years old, he was so incensed. He went to his mother. What can I do to avenge this insult? She said, well, I've heard if you go to the forest, the sages, they go to the forest because he was told only God can help you. So where can I find this God so I can get my revenge? The sages, they go to the forest to find God. So he left home immediately. 5-year-old boy. And again, in those times, we're talking about eons ago. So many ferocious animals in the jungle. But he was not afraid. God is living in this forest jungle, I'm going to find it and get my revenge. So Narad Muni came and he tested him and said, you're 5 years old, you're a little bit angry right now, but you go home and then later on, when you're grown up, you can continue the search. He said, no, if you can tell me how to find God, tell me, otherwise leave me alone. So Narad Muni realized this young boy is serious. So he gave him a mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, to chant. And then he also gave him some yogic practice to follow. And he did so perfectly that within 6 months, Bhagavan appeared to him. Dhruva, I'm very pleased with you. Ask any benediction. But by that time, his heart had changed. He was now a devotee. And he said, no, my Lord, I was looking for broken pieces of glass. Now I've found the most precious jewel. In other words, your darshan. I don't want anything. But Krishna said, no. You wanted a kingdom greater than your great-grandfather. His great-grandfather is Brahma. So how are you going to find something big? So Krishna gave him a Vaikuntha planet, Dhruvaloka. And he said, you will rule for 36,000 years. And then you'll go back to God. So Krishna knows our heart's desire. If we have some material, but we should try not to. Again, the business of the guru is to train the disciples how to desire properly. And ultimately the most desirable thing is just to serve Krishna, serve Bhagavan without any other desire. No other desire for self-aggrandizement. And Krishna will take care of us. We'll be very happy. Even in this material world where there's so much misery, the devotees are happy. And that is the special gift of Lord Chaitanya. That's why we're in this movement of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is very, very merciful. Previous ages, you had to go and look for a guru and you had to be qualified to become a disciple. What Prabhupada said, you're also unfortunate in this age, nobody's looking for real spirituality. Therefore, the guru has to come to you. And therefore, Prabhupada came to the United States to give genuine spiritual knowledge. And the culmination of that spiritual knowledge is chant this Hare Krishna mantra sincerely, seriously, and all good fortune will come. So let's chant together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we'll stop here. If there's any question or comments, we'll then move on to the next section after that. We'll have some more chanting, and then I think Sasha has some nice prasadam for you. Yes? Any questions?
Comments, reflection, questions?
Yeah? If not, I'll ask you a question. Like we said, it's Valentine's Day. What did you ask for? Be honest. And be careful what you ask for, because you may get it. So everybody agree that the most desirable thing is just to become a pure servant of Krishna, pure servant of Bhagavan? Okay. We'll accept that. All right, we'll do a little more chanting, and then we'll can have informal discussion. Let's bring this up.
Great class.
Hare Krishna. Let's put it over there. Yeah, that's good.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, hold on.
Thank you. Sweet.
If you want to learn how to play this Mridangam, at the ISKCON Temple in Brooklyn, they have regular classes. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Krishna Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya, Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Iti Namine.
Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Nishatarine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashata Nishatarine
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gauranga.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Go, Premanand.
Hari Hari Bol.
So if any of you can make it, tomorrow I'll be speaking at the Sunday program at the Bhakti Center, which is just behind us.